We all know that Formula 1 engines are some of the highest revving engines in the world, but that has been spoken about many times. I want to show you something a bit different. I'm VisioRacer, and today I want to show you some of the lowest revving Formula 1 engines. First one on this list being Ferrari 246, as a front mid-engine race car driven by Mike Hawthorne, using Dino Ferrari's baby V6 engine. It was built for 1958 Formula 1 Championship and it used a 65-degree V6 engine, being 5 degrees wider for straight intakes Ferrari wanted, and the firing order was even out by 55 degrees offset crankpins. First, this engine got into Formula 2 as a 1.5 liter, but later it got into 246 and 256 models, receiving an 8500 RPM revving engine with 2.4 and 2.5 liter versions, both with 3 Weber carburetors and a 160 liter fuel tank. For the 1954 season, Lancia recruited Vittorio Jano for this project, previously working for Ferrari and Alfa Romeo. His team created a truly innovative race car that featured a compact V8 engine being a chassis stress member, and it was offset 8 degrees from the car's longitudinal axis. The drive shaft was placed to the left of the driver with a rear-mounted 5-speed transaxle. As said, it debuted in 1954 and proved to be capable and fast in hands of Alberto Ascari. Brabham BT19 and 20 were powered by the same engine, an Australian-made Repco Type 620. It was a chain-driven unit with a single overhead cam and Lucas fuel injection to provide the peak power at 8000 revs. The roots of this engine block come from Buick V8 from 1953, being completely reworked by Repco with their own cylinder liners, heads and other parts. It peaked out with a torque at 3500 RPM, and it was up to 45% more fuel efficient than its competitors. Back in the 50s, Porsche was part of various types of racing, including the F1 and F2 with the 718 model. It started in F2 as a open-wheeled version, the 718/2, with a 1.5 liter Boxer 4-cylinder engine, but for 1962 season, the regulation changed for Formula 1, basically allowing to carry over the 1.5 liter engine due to 1500cc engine displacement limit. The engine itself came from a 550 model called the Type 547, using an aluminum block, 4 cams, 2 spark plugs per cylinder and twin carburetors. racing during the 2.5 liter Formula 1 era, the Maserati 250F used an engine sourced from a road car, the Maserati A6, powered by 1.6 and 2 liter engines, both straight sixes. While the road-going 2 liter engine made 120 horsepower, the 2.5 liter was capable of 240 horsepower at 7,200 rpm with 3 Webers. Over the years, that number climbed over 270 horsepower at 8,000 revs, spinning the rear-mounted 5-speed transaxle. If you are such an engine geek and you love these engines as much as I do, please consider subscribing. Every help counts. Ferrari 625 was called 625 because of the amount of cc per cylinder, and it used a Lampredi engine originally made as a 4, 6 and a 12-cylinder power plant. This was the 4-cylinder fed by a pair of Weber carburetors with 2 single overhead cam operated valves. Originally, the 625 was based on a 500 chassis meant for F2, and it was put on the grid next to the Maserati 250F and Mercedes-Benz W196, using a bored-out and stroked 500 engine up from 2 to 2.5 liter. Lotus 16 and 18 were different F1 cars. The 16 was the first Lotus Formula 1 car ever, and the 18 was the first mid-engine Formula 1, both using the Coventry Climax FPF engine. This was an all-aluminum engine with gear-driven twin cams, a dry oil sump, and twin Weber carburetors. The FPF was also made as a 1.5 liter Formula 2 engine, and revved at 7,000 rpm at most. Cooper Bristol accommodated a 1936 BMW M328 engine exactly with the cylinder dimensions and valve train setup as the original engine. While the original engine had 80 horsepower, it was a very undersquared engine with 3 Solex carburetors. It used a chrome cast steel block with aluminum head, being one of the few overhead valve driven engines in Formula 1. The engine was also later shared with the T23 and T25 models in upcoming seasons. So there you go, these are some of the lowest revving Formula 1 engines. I hope you liked it, and comment down below which one you like the most. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers!